Hello and welcome back to World of Tanks Bootcamp with Sethika. In this replay I'm going to be showing you one of my favorite tanks. I've said it before, but I've not really shown you how it should be played, right? The Tiger II. A beautiful tank. Just look at this beast of a German hunk of steel or something. It is magnificent. It was my first true carry tank. A tank capable of winning games practically on its own, in the right kind of situation. And let me stress this, I can't stress this enough really, city maps are its right kind of situations. Because what you got to remember with most heavy tanks, but especially with the Germans, they are very flat. They really benefit from being able to hide their lower plate. Hide this lower plate and also hide this over here. I can't remember if this has been modeled out. Oh well. You want to side scrape in this tank because you want the enemy to shoot at you, not your friends, and enable your friends to take shots of opportunity at the enemy. Okay, so this is very typical. Oh, the SU-152. And I hit its gun mantlet. Now if you saw the SU-152 review I did, you'll know why that's quite a bit annoying. Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. Oh, the Tiger II did it wrong. He didn't side scrape. Now, the reason I'm driving like this, I'm not side scraping, you could say. That's true. I don't know where that shot went. I'm not side scraping because I don't have to. Because he can't shoot at my side armor, he can only shoot at my turret. So that's fine. I don't have to worry about that, and the SU-152 seems to be going away. Now, I see that my friends are playing very aggressively, so I say, alright, let's go all out. Let's go all out. We've taken the advantageous position in here, in this area, where we are capable of side-scraping. So, this Tiger II is playing weirdly, and I do not have the gun depression to get the shot that I tried to get there. But still, I was a bit lucky with the Tiger II there, because that Rimesic Baltic didn't... the enemy Tiger II was driving in front of the Rimesic Baltic, so he couldn't get a shot out of. But as you can see here, let's see. You want what? Okay, that Crumble, unlucky guy. So as you can see, I'm side scraping here. This is what this tank really excels in. It's what it was built to do, right? It was built to get shot at in this kind of angle, right? Because it's never going to penetrate. Never. Oh, and the T-34 is not shooting me. I'm not shooting at him because I want to kill that SU-152 since he had a good gun. Basically, he would have been able to make mincemeat out of me if he was playing decently. So I didn't allow him that chance. And the T-34 should have shot at me. But now we can get some shots in at this guy. Boom. Beautiful. And again, the only reason I wasn't side-scraping to begin with was because I saw that he was focusing on something back here. That allowed me to just go in and quickly get a shot out. You want to keep your gun firing as much as possible, all the time. Now the T-34 has very bad reload time, so I wasn't really that worried about him. And now he's mad. It's great. So, here, let's go after the weakened foe, right? If I had gone up there, I would have been pinched between this guy and that guy, so I might as well kill this guy first and go after the Panther the next. So, at this point, the match is already really over. If I didn't get stuck on debris here, the match is already really over at this point. Why, you might ask? Because we've won the city, and we've killed most of their big tanks through with no real losses of our own. Funnily enough. So I saw the VK4502 4502 over here, but he's so slow that I'm probably more than capable of just killing this guy and then going after him. He's over there. And really, this is what you want in a Tiger II. You want a situation where you can control the engagements, right? You can make the enemy shoot at you, and without taking damage, getting your friends to also be able to kill the enemy. What that allows you is to tilt the chances in your favor. That should not have penetrated. Maybe that was premium? Might have been. You want the enemy to shoot at you in the Tiger 2 because you've got so great armor. You've got so great armor that if you can get a bounce from the enemy onto you, you can. The game is practically over by now, right? So, if you can get a bounce on a side-scraping shot here, it's sure it allows you to deal damage to the enemy, right? But in most cases, even more than that, it allows you, your teammates, to fire at the enemy with impunity, and well, they will, of course they will. But if you're trying to win, that's really what you want in the Tiger 2. You want the enemy to shoot at you. You want them. Hell, even if you take damage, it's fine, right? You're built to take damage. That's your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to get the enemy to shoot at you so that they don't fire at all your friendly tanks, like these guys. Shame on you. Shame on you. Well, anyway, no way. No matter. You want them to fire at you so they don't fire at your friendly teammates, so that your friendly teammates and yourself can kill them as fast as possible. So yeah, you can make, in essence, you want to make favorable trades, right? That is the essence of this. And with that, let's take a closer look at the post-game stats. 57,000 credits earned, 3,600 experience earned, a Top Gun and a First Class Master Badge. Now, this First Class Master Badge should tell you something, right? I'll give you a moment. It should tell you that this tank is really good, right? I got 1,200 experienced with no modifiers, and it's still only First Class. It is a beast of a tank. It is made for side scraping. It is made to dominate engagements. It is made to really wreck the enemy's morale. What you do with this tank is, as I showed you, you make the enemy shoot you so that both you and your team can kill them very, very, very fast. Now, we had a very good Jack Panther. That's probably why we didn't lose the little town at all. We actually won that town, right? But even if we hadn't, this game was more than under control, because the enemy would have to go in, wager into the town, where the Tiger 2 would have wrecked them. There was no big tanks left, right? We could have quite capably, we would have been quite capable of wrecking the rest of the enemy team. I've had situations where we've been 1 against 3, 4 tanks on a corner, and they've been unable to kill us because, as I'm about to show you in the next replay, most people are very not comfortable taking damage. What they want to sit back, let the other teammates take the damage, right? And that's, you've got to realize this. You need to be the one taking damage. You need to be the one taking the initiative. You need to be the one who, as a Tiger, or as most heavy tanks, that's what they're for, right? As one of the heavy tanks, gets out into the enemy face and gets them to shoot at you. But don't take damage. You do not want to take damage. Of course not. No one wants to take damage, right? What the Tiger tanks, hell, even any heavily armored tank, what they can do is get the enemy to shoot at you in a situation where you can shoot back at them, making it a favorable trade, because you are more likely to not take damage than the enemy are, right? Or at least that's the theory, of course. Of course there are exceptions to this. But the overall theory is that we need to get the enemy to shoot at us, so that we can kill the enemy with impunity. You need to make favorable trades. And with that, let's move on to a tank that is most certainly capable of making favorable trades, but not because of the armor, but because of the gun. Oh, I love myself a great gun. Let's move on. So, Here in the second replay, I'm going to be playing the Object 268 on a Tier 10 match, of course. What else would you expect? The lowest tier, Tier 8, and we got ourselves a single Tier 6. Well, the enemy actually also got one. That's great! That makes it fair, I guess. Not fair for them, fair for everybody else. So, this map has been changed quite a bit since last I played. At least this whole area up here. When I last played, there was only one way up here. There was not this whole second sloping down here. But I gotta say, I love the change. Jesus. Before it was completely stale to fight on this map. Because it was just go up, fire at enemy, win or lose, and go on and win the map. It's still kind of like that, but at least now you can... There's a point to maneuvering around up here, right? Very nice change. Now there's a single enemy artillery on this map, which makes for a great opportunity for me, because I usually get killed by the artillery. Well, I guess most people would say that. Bias is more. Bias. So, first little... The E50, I would probably not be able to penetrate that from that kind of angle. But now I need to worry about the artillery. Because that really is the greatest threat you're going to be facing up here, up on the top. That's the artillery. Because everything else is really... That was a very speculative shot. It was even on the far side of his superstructure, right? That was never gonna penetrate. But yeah, I wasn't gonna get a better shot either way. I don't know what happened there. That was interesting. Okay, so what I'm thinking here is I'm going to be abusing this whole area, because I can be in cover here while firing at the enemy who's moving up here. So because we've got these guys down here who spot all of the tanks coming up over the hill, I can support them indirectly somewhat by preventing the enemy from moving up. Now I am exposed to enemies down there, but it's rather rare really that I get shot a lot from them. And again, or not again really, but it's definitely a valid reason to take damage. I have 1950 HP, right? If I'm not gonna be using that health for anything, annoying. If I'm not gonna be using that health for anything, that effectively means that my own team are gonna be taking that damage instead of me, right? I'm keeping these guys engaged, effectively. So I saw him fire. That means I can get up here and I can take a shot on this Yak Tiger, leaving him on very low XP, which is great. That means he's probably gonna die soon. There we go. Okay, he's dead. Now, as I said, there are quite a few situations where it's a fine idea to take damage. I would say this is one of them. Well, I would certainly have preferred if I hadn't just tracked him. But at least he's dead anyway, right? But still, I would have far preferred it if I actually did damage to him myself right there. That was a bullshit absorb, I would say. So, what am I thinking? I'm thinking there's still a enemy artillery left, and I want to go up here and check if I'm getting spotted. Anyone shooting at me? No? Nothing? Okay. What that's telling me is that there's probably mostly people down here, in this area, right? Because I went over there, so I should have been spotted from down this here area. Now I was shot once from down there, which probably means there's at least... Oh yeah. There's the leopards. A leopard, I should say. Yeah, this tank does have quite a bit of... I think that went in. In which case it was very unpleasant for that guy. Now, in this kind of situation, yeah, it definitely went in. You could choose... I should actually be more aware of that guy over there. Yeah. Artillery is definitely a priority, even though he probably would have been killed either way. But I love killing myself those guys. Okay, so at this point I'm thinking I need to go over and deal with this leopard. If I ram him and shoot him, he's dead. Nearly 100%. Because that's a tank that's high damage, which I can quickly and effectively take out, right? And it went almost as good as it could. But this guy would have been a major nuisance for us if we were to have gone down after these guys. So, and of course, the poor T-28 prototype is not gonna have a great day. Not after that shell. Well, not after being flanked by anything in general, right? Okay. I'm willing to take the chance here. And I certainly hope it went in. But as you can see, this tank is really very nimble. It can be so fast, so maneuverable, so deadly. You just drive around, across the battlefield, and you take your giant gun. Oh, it did go in. Brilliant. And boom, he's dead. No problem. You take your giant gun, and you... It's like the epitome of what the ISU-152 represents. Sorry about that. Where the ISU-152 is more derpy than this thing is, it's still this brilliant gun. This absolutely magnificent beast of a cannon right here. This thing is gonna make somebody's day a living hell. So, let's take a look at the post-game stats. 55,000 credits, 3,000 experience earned, and a first-class mastery badge. As well as this most damage thing, which I've forgotten the name of. But still, this is quite a fine game, right? 4,500 damage done. More than anything else here, and hell, if we look at if we don't look at this thing, it's quite... Oh wow! I had a good team. This T-92 that's rare, at least in my opinion. So, what can we really say about this, right? I fired 13 shots. Of those, only 7 penetrated. This is one of the things you should focus on optimizing the absolute most, right? You need to keep your gun singing, and you need to keep on doing damage, to throw your weight around, so to say. What you really want is as close as possible to 100% penetrations, and as close as possible to 100% reload time. You want to be reloading all the time. Now, there's a fine balance here, right? Because sometimes you need to take speculative shots, because you can't really get anything else, but you need to think about it a lot, really. That shot against the Jack Tiger that I did, that was a waste of a shot, because I was never gonna penetrate that guy from that angle, and so really all I did there was give myself a reload. Hell, even give myself more ammunition cost, but that's really beside the point, right? But I gave myself a reload, which meant that I might have been able to take a shot at something else instead, which would have been much more preferable. Also, that shot at the 112, that was a bit of bullshit, really. I should have penetrated him, in my opinion. So, with that, we're getting closer to something. That's 9. Still not very good. Still not very good at all, really. But, in that kind of situation, what I've tried to show you in both of these matches is that you should be willing to take damage. So I rushed the 112. Why did I rush the 112? Think about it. I had more than enough health, really, to do anything. And he was in an advantageous position. Well, he was probably gonna be overrun soonish, rather than later. But still, if I hadn't gone up, he might have been able to get more shots off, right? So by me forcing myself to go in, take the shot, I got all of my teammates to fire at him with impunity. And that's really one of the major points that you have to think about. If you're trying to get good at the game, trying to win a lot really, what you want to do is take as little damage while doing as much as possible, and while reloading or even when trying to fire, trying to set up shots by your teammates on the enemy as much as possible. You do not want to obstruct the enemy, your friends, and you want to make them shoot the enemy. Because what you're really after here is winning the game, right? That's why I play. I love to win. What you're really after... well, I hope everyone wants to win in the end. What you're really after is getting the enemy to shoot at you, if you can, and not take damage. That's what the Tiger excels at, with side scraping and its brilliant armor. It is going to get shots at it, but it's going to get shot at, but not take damage. When the enemy shoots at you, but you don't take damage, you have a favorable trade. In the end, the World of Tanks is about making favorable trades. So if you can, what you should be doing is setting your teammates up for success as well as yourself, right? So you bounce a shot, you take a shot at the enemy, but by you bouncing a shot, you've also enabled all of the friendly tanks around you to take shots at the enemy with impunity. Brilliant! That is great, because then they die quicker and your friendly tanks don't take any damage, right? That's what I tried to do with the 112. I tried to rush him, get him to shoot at me, and hopefully he would bounce, but he didn't. But you saw, even when I didn't penetrate him, he was dead like that, right? He was toast, because he fired, and many people are not willing to take the damage, take that first shot, which enables the enemy to come back from unfavorable positions, where they should never be allowed to. You should just, if you can, you should just take them out. Or if you can't take them out yourself, try and set it up so your teammate can take them out. It really is as simple as that. If your team can make more favorable trades than the enemy, then you will win a lot, statistically. It might not work every time, but in the grand scheme of things, you are going to get a good win rate, which is what I'm after. And good games, of course. So, with that, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you back some other time for more World of Tanks with Sethika. Don't forget to vote, comment, and subscribe.